Back in 1713 present day, it was all about two-dimensional combat. The clicking wars between white men and Africans sometimes included pirates and other colonies. These battles were mostly team deathmatches, but a scenario called Colony has become my favorite reality. Colony is just team deathmatch with build-up. The build-up being making a roofless shack that you defend or get killed trying to protect, like attempting to survive in a society covered in so much rust that ceilings are not supported like motivational speaker philosophy. Now let's see what life was like back in the 1700s if God drew up his vision on Mario Paint. Our journey through history begins with a man named Everett, but the Oracle calls him Jontron. He started his day by admiring cannons near the ocean like a visit to Muscle Beach. The chin-strapping young lad then killed a turkey to celebrate genocide and the passing of the smallpox potato salad. The colony had a nice ship. Look, we paid top dollar to have our wooden plank original characters drawn all stuck together to create a group fucked anime boat. This island was full of discoveries, one of them being the noise that bodies make when you step on them. It's just as loud and unnecessary as you could ever want. Everett went exploring in a dark cave system, like confused underground rappers trying to find themselves. Fed up with the old dull colony, Everett and some other separatists started their own French settlement. A wall was being built to protect the dreams of turning this place into a casino. Then a bar area was made for the shirtless Frenchmen. This was a place where they could organize their thoughts like a pondering player. However, they will have plenty of time to think while reloading their muskets that were sponsored by the gunpowder god. The French Revolution was interrupted by two natives. One was fresh out the shower wearing a towel on his head with another wrapped around his waist, while his friend just had a bird or something covering his dick. Anyways, they were upset that the white men were using all the hot water on the island. This conflict gave Everett wood, and it looks like his boys handled the domestic dispute. Then a redcoat Brit stepped in the wrong territory, like a member of the Bloods with Pokemon disorder, only shouting blood at a blood drive. They would not just stand idly by while the British soldier touched their guns. He was shot, beaten, and gang-stabbed like any lone person different from you in these parts. The French then ran into battle wearing pajamas looking like concentration camp escapees that stole the guards' weapons. They were still trying to raid the British colony to the best of their ability. Most of the French went back to the base. Everett posted up with his musket to protect the entrance. The dead Brit doormat was very welcoming to travelers. He went back to fighting and killing, because what else is he gonna do? Read a book or invent something? All this man cares about is battle. He probably could not focus long enough to even craft a Dead Rising combo, let alone make something new, and this is how it has always been. Here he is again, reincarnated in the middle of a battle like the passage in the Bible where Jesus is a drummer boy on the front lines. He was in a never-ending team deathmatch that was true to the days of colonialism. The idiot walked right into a spear because the guy chucking it sort of blended in with the floor. He was lucky a rugged greaser was there with a sword to save him. Then a sword duel in between walls took place like training a set of future high-class fencers while they are still fetuses. There were more shootings and bodies on top of bodies than a busy weekend in a third world slum. This man cannot even move without stepping on someone like a cutthroat CEO, because him and his business partner shut down any competition. Between the repetitive yells and hack maybe slash attacks, there was not much to this boring peasant's life. He was born to fight and that is all he did. The bloody-faced champ cut up a shaman like an overly religious person scared of magic. His attempted whiteout of history failed as the natives had more backup. Even after being sliced up, he is granted a new life like a worm. In this life, he is into erotic asphyxiation. But this was a holy town, and it was not allowed. Instead, he constructed a beachside home that only served one purpose, which was to sit and stare at uneventful water. So I guess two purposes, sitting and staring. This type of action does not satisfy that deviant's lust for suffocation though. A bullet through the lungs definitely should provide the ultimate climax. Everett gets one more chance of life, and he is already upgraded to a bigger shack and a red hat. The only problem seems to be the pirates raiding the town. He took a final stand against the pirates like people who actually get in trouble for stealing music, but he only brought down one pirate in the process that then went right back to pirating, just like they do in real life.
Yes, me lord.
I was born to be wild, but the cage was too small. Hello.
Here we have Chad Blutenberg. He's an officer in the French military, but his race is Welsh-German according to Google. I mean his family tree or whatever they used to keep track of that shit back then. Their governor announced that the British declared war, so they all took the wooden path like an army of baby men scared of dirt. The French arrived at the Portuguese colony first on their tour of war. During their visit, everyone was crowded around a butchered cadaver like med students partying with their homework. Then suddenly the French governor got his head blown off and flung onto a wall where it instantly mounted like an assassinated trophy. While all this went down, Chad was daydreaming deep into his millennial mental notes. Chad stared at the human head decor mounted on the wall like the tactic of I did not see nothing when you killed the people I arrived with. The Portuguese governor was in the hospital, so Chad attacked with all of his French energy. A sword fight with a doctor stood in his way until a bullet completed the blockade. The new and improved Chad was now a British soldier. In his French past, their war with the British was ended by the Portuguese before it even started. Chad figured he would stay inside and write since writing was the only way he could express his thoughts to an audience without standing in front of people. Because these were the days where people only said internet when shouting at fish they were trying to catch, and live streaming only happened in rivers. This social anxiety and boredom is why he wrote about his glorious day. Day 1. Watching the colony hall, eating Red Lobster biscuits and scratching my nuts. It's like I'm a fat gamer trying to find himself behind this desk. Anyways, I must be going now. The British colony was embracing the monarchy and letting people hang for petty crimes. Knowing that and having a red coat gave Chad the feeling he could do whatever he wanted. So Chad ran through the people's home in their personal basement mine because it was his right during a war. The now omitted 43rd Amendment required citizens to feed, shelter, and suck dry any soldier that entered their home. He hit their boarded up window a few times, and this really raised the stakes, like making fun of a weird fandom that pretend they're animals versus lowering the stakes by creating satire about mongoloids. Or maybe the stakes were raised when Chad punched out the man disguised as a powdered wig Jezebel. Then 2 polygamous husbands protected their wife's honor. One of the men got Chad with the unstoppable stab and run strategy, while the other enemy tried to use the only thing that can stop a stab and run, a gun. Inevitably though, it was stabbing that did him in, like cities that have banned firearms.
Is your mouth moving? That's all I care about.
You ever lick a grown man's eyeball before?
Ah, it's working! Sorry, I got too excited.